have a little bit of time for questions. First, is there any question that you would like to just raise your hand from the floor? I know it's getting late in the day, and it has been a long day with a lot of information, fully understandable. But then we'll maybe just take the one question which has come through from Slido, and then we'll give you a few closing remarks with you on the way. So there's one question coming saying Eastern Europe has specific challenges to achieve the energy efficiency targets by 2030. Do you think there should be a stronger focus on regions of the EU that are lagging behind? So I think for part of the answer, I'll pass to Serena to see how the policy line is from there, and then I can complement from our program side as well.
Thank you, Annette. Well, I think on this question there are different angles to look at. Definitely, I think indeed in some countries we can see that there is much more untapped potential regarding energy efficiency than in other countries for different reasons. And also there is a balance between the high opportunities and the fact that indeed it is more difficult to address them. So I think in terms of how this should be reflected in your proposals, perhaps I think why not addressing specific challenges wherever they are in Europe. I don't think this is excluded from the scope of the topic, but perhaps the colleagues would have something to add about it. And I think one issue which is quite high on the political agenda regarding the energy transitions, and some regions in the EU concerns just transitions, especially for those areas that will be more affected and perhaps negatively affected by the transition, in case their economy is very much has been historically based on the exploitation of fossil fuels like coal. And there's a lot of attention of this aspect in what the Commission is putting forward. And there are also elements of this in the assessment of the national energy and climate plans. But this does not relate only to energy efficiency, but more. It's the scope of this discussion is broader, and it's about the energy transition.
Thank you very much, Serena. From the line of H2020, from our energy efficiency funding, should there be a stronger focus on regions of the EU that are lagging behind? I would personally say yes, absolutely. But then H2020 is a non-prescriptive program, which means it's not in the line of the program to actually focus or slice out certain preferential areas, either thematically or in terms of geographics. Having said that, the good thing is that it's in your hands. We don't have a lot of immense high numbers of applications of proposals really focusing on that part of Europe, as much as on other vulnerable parts as well, by the way, not only that part, and which means it's basically in the hands of proposers to come up and recognize that need and actually bundle the sources and forces from that region and come up with proposals which correspond exactly to their needs. So if it's not top-down, which probably is good because it really leaves a lot of space for your needs and not the needs which are orchestrated from here, it's actually really, having said this, it's actually placing the ownership in your hands, but also, of course, then the proactiveness in your hands of coming up with relevant proposals for that region. I can only state that there hasn't been a lot of work in this area, which tells you there's a lot of space for work in that area. So I think that's the best message that we can give you on that topic, which is very, very important, because the point on the just transition and making basically equality and transparency in energy transition at all levels really visible, I think also a program like ours has a contribution to make, and we would be more than glad to make it. Good. I think that was then the question for this afternoon. Obviously, as we've said in earlier sessions, all of our reference material actually carries our contact accesses so that you know where to find the energy team, and we'll be very glad and happy to be available for questions and answers. Of course, don't forget that you have in your own country your own national contact point system, and we know that some of them are equipped with really wonderful resources and capacities and competences, and really in your place I would certainly turn also to the national contact point in case you had doubts on on the pertinence and quality of your ideas, because they are really the ones who are actually allowed to give you also from their experience really the judgment on and help and advise on your project ideas. So I think with this we can conclude on an interesting session, which really has normally really exciting proposals. So we just hope that we would have the same dynamics also for the next call.